Right.
Okay, so you know, I've been giving advice to all the kids, and what's the most obvious thing to give advice to Rachel about? How to find a good husband. Or advice to Tanya if she needs it.
But of course I made an excellent choice first time round, so I'm pretty confident of my abilities in this area.
And I was discussing the subject with Sam, not of course Sam finding a husband, but we did actually have a discussion about the possibility that Mum might get remarried, and I did point out to him when he was a bit concerned about whether she might pick a loser, that she has a track record of picking really good guys. So, and here's my thought about it. You know, when people are looking for the characteristics of a really good wife, they go to Proverbs 31, which talks about the wife of noble character, and it seems to be easy to find what the Bible says a good wife should be like. But the whole book of Proverbs is written to a young man. The whole book of Proverbs is written. King Solomon is writing to one of his sons, telling him what a wise man is like. So you can read the book of Proverbs and you can find an awful lot about what good men are meant to be like. So obviously that's a lot of reading, and you can't. It's harder to turn that into a chart and just tick it off one at a time. Although I've always maintained a big folder full of information that I'd like any potential suitors to fill in, but I don't know if we're going to get to that. The other thing is in Timothy, in 1 Timothy chapter 3, there's qualifications for church leaders, for elders and pastors. And a lot of people take that as being Paul's list of things that if you're a super Christian, if you're really, really good, you qualify to be a pastor or an elder, and if you meet all these criteria, then you can be a leader in the church. And the rest of us live down at a level further down here, which is where all the bums and people that you know, don't manage their lives live. And that's not what Paul is saying at all. What Paul is saying is, if you're going to choose someone to lead the church, you want to choose excuse me. You want to choose a mature Christian, someone who's a mature Christian. So the qualifications that Paul gives in 1 Timothy chapter 3 and in Titus chapter 1 for a church leader are not for the super duper Christians, but it's a measure of a mature Christian. And if you want to find a good husband, to a certain extent, you should look for someone who has those characteristics of being a mature Christian. Like, you know, it says things like, obviously it says able to manage his family well and his children obey him. Possibly when you're first looking for a husband, he's not going to have a whole host of children, so some of those things won't apply, but not given to drunkenness, not quarrelsome, not able to manage his household well means more than just managing his, you know, cleaning up his bedroom. It means our household in those days was the whole, even your business, right? So is he a young guy that's working, respectful for his boss? If you come home and he says rude things about the boss and
or his mother,
rude things about his mother, you'll know. You know, nobody's perfect. I was certainly not perfect when your mum married me. In fact, I think hideous thoughts. I think back and think, gosh, if someone like me came and wanted to marry you, I'd be having reservations about it, saying, goodness me, he's got no job, he's got no whatever, and we've worked out all right. So it's not the most important thing is committed to God. And then you look through those things and say, well, is this guy a mature Christian, a believer, and is he going to, you know, has he got those characteristics that...
what about personal taste?
Secondly...
Yes, you're getting to that, sorry.
It's like all sermons have 3 points, right?
Right.
Now I've completely forgotten what point number 2 was. The thing is, of course, that yeah, well, you've got to marry the guy, right? So you're going to have, there's a certain amount of flexibility that goes with it. Some things you like, some things you don't, and that's not really mum or my business in terms of that sort of thing. So I've joked over the years about getting them to fill in all these forms and whatnot. There probably won't be any forms. because it's so you know, you are allowed to make decisions based on your personal choice.
Thank you.
It's good. You're
Yeah,
very gracious. Very gracious.
Thank you, Dad.
I don't know, have you got any questions about it? I had a third point, but it sort of sat down on my head. So, I mean, just as I was talking, I had another point come up in my mind, and then your mother interrupted. And I've forgotten what I was going to say. Committed to God is certainly a big thing. Having those talents or character attributes is a second thing. The third thing is, of course, he's got to want to live with you. I guess you could say it's like in Timothy, Paul says, if a man desires to be an overseer, he's choosing a good thing. But it doesn't say that every mature Christian has to be a church leader or an overseer. And same thing, you might find lots of mature young Christian men who you could marry, but not every one of them is necessarily going to be your choice. You'll be chasing them away with a broomstick. They'll be so after you. So what do you think, love? Are you got any advice for Rachel?
Well, I just think it's helpful to get to know someone before you're romantically involved in a group setting, so you can observe them where then they've got no incentive to show off to you. Watch them from afar.
We met through our involvement with Christian Fellowship for Disabled, and I spied her from a distance doing all the jobs that no one else wanted to do, looking after people that needed a lot of help, stuff. And there's a woman who's, it wasn't just self-interest, it wasn't like I said, well, there's a woman that's going to serve me, and you know, but there's a woman who is not just, what's the word, not just going to behave herself for one evening date or something, or whatever. There's a whole lifestyle going on there, and it's good to be part of that. And that reminds me what the other point was.
Excellent.
The point of marriage is not just so we can have a good time and have a lot of fun and companionship, although it is all that thing, but our primary purpose for being on earth is to serve God. And you want to choose a marriage partner that's going to help you become a better person and better able to serve God. So like, I've found that a lot of my weaknesses that I had when we first got married, your mum has helped me overcome, and not by nagging or complaining, but just by so your mum has helped me overcome a lot of my weaknesses, not by nagging and complaining at me, but just by being a good example. And hopefully I've done the same thing for her. And so we're both better people and got a lot more done in life and for serving God and serving others than we would have done if we'd been single people, I think.